Hello guys, this is Julius Osho from Chroma and welcome to the Ultimate Graphic Design channel. Today we'll be going through the steps in creating this beautiful flyer you are seeing on your screen right now. At the end of this tutorial, you'll not only know the steps but you'll understand the principles behind the steps. The resource files to the video are in the description below. Do well to download them and follow along. So without further ado, let's get started. So first things first, we start up our software and we have this welcome screen. It might look a little bit different on your screen, depends on the version of Coreldraw you're actually using. I'm using Coreldraw 2023, but regardless of the version you are using, you are still going to get the welcome screen and you'll see an option to create a new document. So we click on new document, then we give it a name. Let's name it Thanksgiving flyer. Number of pages just one. Our width 5 inches and our height 5 inches. Make sure this is set to inches and not millimeters or feet or any other thing. Make sure it's on inches. So we are working with a 5 by 5 inch canvas and your resolution remains at 300. Then click OK. So the first step whenever we are designing with Coreldraw is to create a shape that has the same size as our canvas. So it serves as a boundary for us that our design must not exceed this, because that is the size of the canvas that we set, and also it is the square that we select that would also use as per clip. You might not understand these things now, but you understand them as you go into the tutorial. So how exactly are we going to do that? Very simple. You come to the rectangle tool here and we double click. Make sure you double click. So that creates a square shape that's exactly the same size as the size of our canvas. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z to bring that back here. Let me pick just any color, it doesn't matter because we are still going to change it later. Let me pick a color. To remove an outline from a shape, you right click on this cancel button at the color palette section of our windows. So like I said at the beginning of this tutorial, the resources are in the description below, so make sure you download them. When you download them, you can then import them from your PC. So to import the background, we look for it on our PC. This is it, the gene image. Then I click it and drag it into Coreldraw. The same way we drop things online whenever we are trying to upload file, just the same thing, there's no difference. So we just click, drag and drop into Coreldraw. Another method people use, but I find it a little bit stressful and unnecessary, is to go to file, imports, then you start searching for the file on your computer. If you don't know its location, then it's going to be a very big issue for you. So just look for it first, then drag it in. That will be less stressful for you. So the next thing we are going to do is we'll power clip our gene into this square. Now power clip means I want to take something and put it inside another shape in my design. So I want this gene to be inside that square. I don't want it to be outside like this, because of course you know that doesn't work. It doesn't serve the purpose we want it to serve. So to power clip, we right click on the image, pick power clip inside and select the square. That puts the image right inside the shape that we select. So to edit the image now, we can't reach the image directly because it's already inside that shape. So to edit the image, we double click and we are inside the box now. We can edit whatever image or images we've placed inside the power clip. Okay, so the next thing for us to do is select the image, because we don't want it to be like this. We click on the image and we click on it again, so it brings out the rotation angle. So we just pick that and drag it towards the side, so it rotates our image. If I hadn't clicked on it twice, and I dragged this handle, it's just going to increase the size. So to rotate, we make sure we bring out the rotation handles by clicking on it twice and then we rotate. Now we want to shift it a little bit to the left. We are not rotating. What do? We click on it again, bringing out the position handles, and then we shift to the side. So we do that. We continue repeating these processes until we actually have our image at the exact position where we want it to be. So yeah, I think it's okay here. So I'm going to press Ctrl and click outside all the images I've imported into the power clip. This helps me to get out of the power clip. So the next thing to do is to bring in the second part of our background. So to do that, I could look for its location, click on it and drag it into Coreldraw, the same way we did the other time. Now I don't want this outside, but I want it inside the square. So what am I going to do? You guessed correctly, power clip. So how do we power clip? We right click on an image, pick power clip inside, and then click on the shape we actually want to put the image in. So to enter a power clip, we double click on the shape. Now we've entered the power clip. We do not want this blue background to be above the gene. We want to put it below the gene. So what are we going to do? Shift page down is the shortcut to take an image below every other layer and every other import on the canvas. Good. So we are going to readjust that. That's not the position we want it to be. Yes, now we want it here. Can escape the power clip. Now if I've mentioned a shortcut before and you can't remember the exact shortcuts, and then I repeat the same process without mentioning the shortcuts, there's actually a Word document alongside the files you are going to download. So there's a list of those shortcuts there so that you can always refer back to them. Now we do not want to leave our background like this because this is just too sharp. We just want the effects of this blue in the background. We do not actually want to be seeing all this purple smoke. So what are we going to do? We go to effects, blur, Gaussian blur. So we adjust the amount of blur we actually want there, and we click OK. In previous versions of Coreldraw, like Corel 17 and lower versions, you would actually find blur under bitmaps. So bitmaps, blur, Gaussian blur, the same process, but in Coreldraw 21 we have it under effects. So we click out, we are done with preparing our background. So the next thing is to bring in our text. So we click on the text tool here, which is the A icon that we have here. That brings out our text tool, and then we can type in our content. So what do we want to type? Youth week, Thanksgiving, Sunday. So we go back to our pick tool here. Good. So what we are going to do now is to change the fonts. So we come here to select the fonts. The fonts we are going to be using is Armor Piercing. The font file is among the resources that you downloaded. So we want it to be this way: Youth Week on a line, then Thanks on another line, Giving on another line. So we are going to break each of these lines apart, and the shortcut for that in Coreldraw is Ctrl K. So when we click Ctrl K, we have Youth Week separately, Thanks separately, Giving separate, and Sunday separate. So what we want to do now is edit the Thanksgiving, because that's basically the major effect in this flyer. So let's zoom in to our Thanksgiving to focus more on it, and to do that we click on Z, which is the shortcut for zoom in Coreldraw. We select an area around this Thanksgiving. So we want to break each of these letters apart, just the same way we broke the lines apart in the previous step. So what are we going to do again? The same shortcut, Ctrl K for break. So T is now separate, H is separate, A is separate, N is separate. So let's select everything. We press Ctrl Q, it converts it to curves. Good. So now we can edit everything very easily. So let's start with N. We come to our shape tool over here, click on it. We select these two anchor points at the bottom and drag them up while holding down shift, so that we don't have issues of the anchor points just moving around in here. So when we hold down shift, it only moves in this direction that we want it to move. So I think it's okay like this. I'm going to leave it like that. And then I want to work on H. The same thing, click on the shape tool, select these 4 anchor points, bring it down. We want to work on T, select the shape tool, pick these 2 anchor points, drag to the right. So the next thing, I want to edit this Thanksgiving section also, and then like we did for the thanks, we break it apart first, so everything is separate. Now we select everything, click on Ctrl Q to convert everything to curves. Now we select our shape tool, click on G because that's what we want to edit next. We select all these anchor points over here and we drag it down. Okay, let me adjust this a little bit. Okay, I think that's good. Now I want to bring my S shape down here, so I'm going to select all the anchor points, drag it down here, good, until I have it very close to this G here. Now the last part is to draw a rectangle the same width as this end here. So we draw that, drag it down here and pick a color for it. Now if you've noticed, let me zoom in, you can see that it's not on the same level as this. So how do we do that? Selecting this, we select this end also and we click on B. So it's the shortcut for align to the bottom. Let's say we actually want it to be at the same level on top here. What are we going to do? I'll select this, click on this and press T, shortcut for align to the top. So that's just how it works. So let me click on Ctrl Z to return it to its previous position. This is good. We now have our Thanksgiving effect the exact way we want it to be in the flyer. So selecting everything now, we change the color to white. Next, we are going to bring our U tweak. We want to align it to the left of the old design, so we click on this, click on L, shortcut for align to the left. So let's reduce the size here by picking the anchor point and dragging it in. Good. Let's bring it down. The space is too much. We'll select a color for it, called the white color. That's the color we are going to be using for everything here. Good. Now we are going to select everything, click on Ctrl G, which is the shortcut for group. Then we click on it once again. Now I said the other time that we click the second time if we want to rotate it, but we can also do the same thing if we want to skew, that is, we want to kind of adjust the way it looks. So we bring a pointer to this, we can see that it changes icon, which allows us to skew the shape. So we click and drag it up like that. Good. So the next thing to do now is to bring the text effect we've edited into our design. So we just drag it here. Remember that we've grouped everything together, so whatever I do affects everything here. If I choose another color, it affects everything. Ctrl Z to return to white. So we want it to be at the center of our design, and the shortcut for that is P. Just click on P, it places it at the center. Let's say I want to place this one there at the center. I'll just press P. It's going to be at the center of our canvas. So let's increase the size of this. Good. Now we've done one of the most important things in this flyer. Now the next thing is to create the kind of glow effect that will be behind our text. So to do that, we come here to our shadow tool, we click and hold to bring out other options that are embedded inside that tool. So for most of the tools that we have here, except the transparency tool, there are other tools that are packed inside it. So if we click and hold, we see the other options that we can select. Click and hold, you see the other options. So we want the contour tool and not the shadow here. So we click and hold, then we select contour. So we come to our shape here and create a contour for it. So we just click the center of the shape and drag it out like that. So it's going to create a kind of outline for it. Good. Now, what is our shortcut for breaking things apart? We want to separate the contour from our shapes. What's the shortcut? Ctrl K. Now our shape is now separate from the contour. So let's select the contour at the back that we've broken apart. We've selected that. This is the color we want to give it. Now it's not really having the glow effect we want just yet. So that means we are not done with this section. What are we going to do? We'll go to effects. While still selecting the contour that we've broken apart from the shape, we go to effects, then blur and Gaussian blur. Good. Now we see that our glow effect is here already. So let's reduce or increase blur. We mustn't increase it too much because it won't look like a glow effect anymore, and it mustn't be too small also, because then it will be too sharp and it also won't be a glow effect. So it must be in the middle. We continue adjusting until we actually have what we want. I think this is okay, so 16, or let me put it at 17. That should be okay. So we click on OK, and here we have the first effects in our design. So now the next thing we are doing is also creating the blur effect for our Sunday, but this is not the font that we want to use. So we come here and select the font we want to use, which is Beauty Dream. Now I am seeing these fonts here because I've actually used them before. So if you click on this drop down icon, you might actually not see the font I'm selecting here. So what you can just do is type in the font you want to select here, Beauty Dream. So you type that in and select your font here. Now this is capitals and this is not what we want, so we double click to edit and type again capital S and the rest in small letters. So we have our Sunday there like that. So the next thing is to choose a color for our Sunday. Now we want to choose this dark blue color, so we just click on this color, bring our Sunday to the center here. Press shift page up. Do not forget the other time when we are trying to take this blue background to the back, I said we are going to click on shift page down to take it to the back. So the opposite is what we are going to use to take it to the top or to the front layer, which is shift page up. So let's get back to our design. Our Sunday is now above every other thing in the design. Now let's zoom in so that we can create a little contour for it. We click on our contour. We are actually trying to apply an effect on this Sunday also. So we click on our contour, make sure it's very little. That's why I said you should zoom in the first place so that you can see it good. So we break the contour apart, zoom in more and select the contour. If we don't zoom in, we might have issues selecting the contour. We might actually be selecting the shade, the text itself. So let's zoom in a lot, select this and pick this color for it. So the next thing we are going to do, while still selecting the contour, please make sure you are selecting the contour, is to come here and click on shadow. We are not using contour again this time around. We click on shadow, the center of our contour or the center of the text, and drag down. We are trying to create a shadow effect so that this Sunday can be distinct from the Thanksgiving at the back. That's why we use shadows in Coreldraw. Good. Now, what's the shortcut to break apart? We've mentioned it a lot of times in this tutorial. Ctrl K. So we click on Ctrl K. Now the text is different, the shadow is different. We have that here like that. So let's select everything by dragging from outside the canvas and creating a shape around our Sunday. Ctrl G to group everything together, and we want it at the center. What's the shortcut? P. Now we drag it down because we don't really want it to be at that side. Drag down while holding shift so that it just doesn't move around, the same way we were holding shift when we were trying to edit the N, the T and the H in Thanksgiving. So we hold down shift and drag up or down until we have it at the exact position we want it. Good. Now we are done with creating the major text in the whole design. So the next thing we are going to do is to bring in our drum. So can you guess how I'm going to do that? We've done that twice already in this design. You look for it under our files, click on it, then drag it in. Very simple. So let's minimize this and go back to Coreldraw so that we can work on it. Let's reduce the size of the drum, place it on our canvas here. So we adjust it until we are actually seeing the given text that we edited. We don't want our drum to be like this because then we are not going to see what's behind it. But if it's covering around 3/4 of it, people can still guess what's under it. Now let's move this a little bit up like that. Good. Okay, I think this is okay. Now, how did I know that this is the position I want this drum to be? I could have placed it like this, right? It's not an offense, but it doesn't look good because these things that we have over here, I don't know what drummers call it, they are not at the center. So we kind of want to balance things because balance is very important in graphic design. That's why we put this in the middle and we didn't put it to one side like this. We have to make sure everything is balanced. The next thing we want to do now is we want to place this drum inside this rectangle. Sorry, I called it a rectangle, it's actually a square. So we want to place it inside. How do we do that? Let me ask that. Power clip, you got it right. So we right click, power clip inside, and we select our box. So now to enter the power clip, what do? We double click. Now we can edit inside the power clip. But we have a problem here. If we move the drum around, we actually don't know if it's covering the text outside. And how do we solve this problem? Let's escape from the power clip by doing what? Pressing Ctrl and clicking outside whatever we have inside the power clip. So to edit something inside the power clip frame without actually going into the power clip, we hold down our Alt key and click on the object inside the power clip. Now we can actually adjust without going into the power clip. This gives us an advantage. and the advantage is that we can actually see if it's covering whatever we are doing. We don't want the whole of this text to be covering the drum. We actually want some part of it to be under the drum, but now the drum is inside the power clip, so we can't bring the drum outside because we don't want our design to exceed this canvas. So what are we going to do? Since we can't bring the drum outside, we take the text inside. And how do we do that? Remember, this is already a group. Then take that back. So we right click, power clip inside, and place it there. Very simple. So we enter the power clip. We want this drum to be above, right? So what's the shortcut? Shift page up. Good. So now it's above the text. Let's escape the power clip, and here we are almost done with our design. So the next thing we have to do now is to add the effects to the drum to actually make the flyer more interesting. So let's go inside because we want to ready the drum, and it's inside the power clip. Pick my pen tool. This thing over here, it's actually giving out light. I've picked my pen tool and I want to draw the effects we are going to be creating. Now I want an outline for the pen I'll be using. Now to select an outline, you simply right click. If I was to select a color for the fill of the shape I'll be drawing, I'll be clicking, not right click. It will be a left click. So to select a color to fill, left click. To select an outline, you right click. I hope you got that. So let's start drawing our shape here. So let's start drawing our shape here like this. Good. Now if this is not the color that it brings when you close up the shape, if it was red or any other color, you can just change it. Very simple. Now remove the outline, go to effects, blur, and Gaussian blur, just like we've been doing every other time. Increase it so that there isn't anything sharp on the edges. So we increase our Gaussian blur like this. Good. So it just looks like a very strong light effect. Now I want it to look like the light is coming from this thing over here. Sorry, I don't know the name. So what are we going to do? We want to take it below the drum, but not below every other layer. Now if we were to take it below every other layer, we'll click on shift page down, but we want to take it below the drum. So what are we going to do? Control page down. Right now it's below this part of the drum. Now we'll copy that by selecting it, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Good. Now we'll rotate it by clicking on this over here. Now we select and drag to this part. Now it's above. What do we do again? Ctrl page down. Good. That's the effect we want. So the next thing also, we are going to create glow effect for other parts of the drum. Now we won't use a pen tool because we don't actually want a straight line. We are going to be using this B-spline. So let's come here and just click like that. It's an advanced form of pen tool. Close the shape. The same thing, effects, blur, Gaussian blur. This is too much because we aren't seeing anything again, so let's reduce it. Good. I think around this amount is okay, so let's close that. Now we can also copy by clicking, dragging, and then right clicking. That means we pick it and drop, pick and drop. So that's a faster method of copying. So we want to copy here, click, drop, click, drop, click, drop. Let's rotate this. Yeah, I want it to be in this direction. Good. Now it looks like our drum is in heaven because there are a lot of lights coming from it, and that's the effect we want. Now this light coming out of this part of the drum is too much, so let's just select the two lights, come to transparency here, and come to transparency, uniform transparency, and reduce the opacity like that. Okay, I think this amount is very fine. Now we can click out of our backlight. We are almost done with our flyer. Now so far, before we continue, we've done something that is very risky, and please make sure you don't do it often when designing with any software. We haven't saved our work since morning, so if this software crashes right now, I don't have anything to fall back on. Do we understand? So to save in Coreldraw, Ctrl S, just like Word or most application. So we click on Ctrl S, that brings out our Thanksgiving flyer, and then we just save. Good, now it's saved. Anything that happens, we still have something to fall back on. So let's continue. I'm going to type in the text we want. Our font Napoli demi bold, so that will be our date, Sunday 15th October 2023. Then venue, all CGM INT branches worldwide. Now we click on our shape icon because the space between these lines are too much, so we just drag up like that. Let's reduce the size and just bring it here. The color we are going to be using here is white. Now if I zoom out, people can't really see what I've placed here, so I have to find a way to bring it out a little bit, and one method we can use is to create a fill behind it. Now I want to create a fill behind this, but I don't want it to be here. So what am I going to do? I will draw a shape. I want it to be, let's just say around 5 by 5 inches. 5, then 5, click enter, then P to put it at the center. Now click on our transparency tool and drag from the bottom, we drag it up like that. Now we'll adjust it like this. Now if we want to bring down something without allowing it to just go haywire, what do? We hold down shift like we've always been doing before, so it only moves in one direction like that. Good. So we select our date and venue here. We want it to be above this shape, right? So shift, page up. Good. Now we can see that it's more visible than it was before. Let's pick colors for it. Select the date, pick this orange color. Select the venue, pick this orange color. So you are free to bring in your logo if you have one. So you can just type in the name you are using for graphic design here. So let's say Chroma, put it at the center, and select color white for it. So now that we are done with our design, let me delete this because I don't want it here. I'm just going to select everything here, then Ctrl E to export. That's the shortcut. So make sure you are selecting JPG here and not PDF or PNG. Then what do you want to name it? Thanksgiving flyer, of course. We can name it that. Select the location, then export. Now make sure it's on RGB color, not on CMYK. Look at, if we pick CMYK, it's going to look a little bit different. You might not see it good. Now can you see that it actually looks very poor? So we pick CMYK when we want to print, but when we want to send it online, we use RGB. make sure this is on highest, and then you click on OK. So we have our design on our desktop. We can access it and send it anywhere. So with that, we've come to the end of this tutorial. If you learned something from this tutorial, make sure you like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, make sure you enable your notification to get notifications whenever I drop new informative videos like this. Thank you.